everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The Kashi Vishwanath Dham project, a signature of the BJP's Astha and Vikas drive, has changed the face of Varanasi. Prime Minister Modi today inaugurated his dream project, just over 2 years after he laid the foundation stone in March 2019. The project has created an easily accessible pathway connecting the Kashi Vishwanath temple to the banks of the river Ganga. It is spread across 5 lakh square feet with over 40 ancient temples restored and beautified. As many as 23 new buildings have been constructed to provide diverse facilities for 2 lakh devotees who can be accommodated in the new complex. The Prime Minister kicked off what he called a new chapter in the history of Kashi, saying ancient winds are now guiding the future through a combination of Virasat and Vikas. He made the pitch in the presence of hundreds of spiritual gurus and BJP chief ministers, among other dignitaries. The Prime Minister congratulated the artisans, civil engineers and architects. He showered flower petals on workers and engineers involved in the project and thanked them for their continued efforts despite the pandemic. He also shared lunch with the workers and thanked the 400 families who gave up their land to make way for this project, making it a one-of-a-kind, litigation-free project. Prime Minister Modi also congratulated UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, saying he united day and night to complete the project. In his signature style, Prime Minister Modi sought 3 commitments from the nation: cleanliness, creation or innovation, and self-reliance. The mega pitch from the Prime Minister, which continues into Tuesday, that is tomorrow, comes right ahead of the crucial UP elections. And SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav is already taking pot shots at the Prime Minister. First, it was a tweet claiming credit for initiating the project, and then he took a jibe at the Prime Minister, saying that people only go to Kashi towards the end of their lives. But beyond the water words, the Kashi Vishwanath project shows the BJP's push for Eastern UP, the region which sends 164 MLAs to the assembly, where the BJP won 115 seats in the 2017 elections. This also sends the wider Hindutva message resonating in all the poll-bound states where the BJP is championing the politics of civilizational shift. While other parties are trying to gain some ground in the Hindutva arena, has the BJP then clearly secured its dominance? Joining me on the show, Nupur Sharma, spokesperson of the BJP, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, Nirja Chaudhary, journalist, political analyst, Mahesh Madhav is author, researcher at Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Foundation. Ghanshyam, I'm going to begin with you. A project begins in 2019 and is completed in record 2 years' time, most of which was pandemic. 400 families gave their lands for this, a litigation-free project, and overall a message of restoration and development. I'm sure today the former UP Chief Minister can make it about heritage and compliment the BJP and the Prime Minister.
Good evening, Maria, to you, the viewers and my fellow co-panelists. First and foremost, it is shocking to learn about the attack in Srinagar and attack on our police personnel. And I hope and pray for everyone who's injured that they are safe. And it also demonstrates the leadership this country requires, not hollow events just for a UP election. The Prime Minister of India should not play as Chief Minister PM Modi. He should play as Prime Minister PM Modi. But the Prime Minister chooses to play as Chief Minister PM Modi. Then we have to look at whether the 7-hour event determines what has happened in Kashi, or just a 6-month window will determine what has happened in Kashi. In last 6 months, we have seen bodies floating. In last 6 months, we have seen that children of a blind school were requesting for funds because the school did not have funds. In last 6 months, we have seen that education in Kashi has been shut. The students have been out of school, not access to tablets, but the education minister is busy and in temple visits for the Prime Minister. So if look at the hospitals, look at Banaras Hindu University, for example. The BHU languishes at over 800 rank in any global ranking.
Ghanshyam,
Prime Minister after 7 years
case, why did Akhilesh Yadav tweet claiming credit for this project? If it is about multiple issues that you are interested in raising today, then why claim credit for this project at all?
Well, it is not, when you speak about your work, it is not claiming credit. Our work spans from distributing laptops to improving PHCs to dial 100 to the better policing system, to what we did in heritage cities of Uttar Pradesh. We are not about one ticket agenda. That event is the agenda.
Okay.
At a time when this same city,
Okay.
the Prime Minister and his team had to purge data on
Nupur,
COVID
a quick
deaths.
response from you. And those are the live visuals
Good evening,
that are coming from Kashi, where the Prime Minister can be seen witnessing that Ganga Aarti. It's quite a spectacle every day, and for whosoever visits Kashi, this is something that you must go and see. It's quite a spectacle. Go ahead, Nupur.
Good evening, Maria, to you, to co-panelists, and also to your viewers. My thoughts and prayers are with our forces, with our people in Kashmir. Now, having said that, Maria, I heard like a plethora of allegations, the empty allegations coming from the Samajwadi Party, and you asked the right question. If that is so, that why and how are you so interested in actually taking credit for what's happening in Kashi? Maria, I'm somebody who personally traveled in the 2014 elections. The Kashi of 2014, the Kashi of 2019, and the Kashi of 2021 is very different. Kashi is a place I go every 1 or 2 years, and I have seen with my own eyes how the corridor work has come up. And I think restoration of our historical civilization, correcting any civilizational wrong, in fact, bringing back Indian glory, given that in the history of histories, Kashi or Banaras is considered to be the oldest living city or civilization. Now, I heard somebody say right now.
Nupur, just hold on to your thoughts. A piece of breaking news coming in now, and we have to go straight to it. And news just coming in, and very disturbing indeed, from Srinagar. Terrorists have murdered cops in Srinagar. 3 police personnel have been killed and 11 have been injured in this terror attack. Mufti Islah is joining me. Mufti, give us the details.
Well, I'm at the spot where this incident has happened, and clearly some of the top officials have come. But what I'll be picking up is that there was this police vehicle which was going on, and all of a sudden it was ambushed at a point called Zeevan. Now, this area is not far away from Srinagar, only 12 kilometers. We're picking that in the initial burst of fire, some 14 policemen got injured, and out of those, 3 are said to be extremely critical. We're still waiting for official confirmation, but what we're picking up is that there are certainly some kind of fatalities. As of now, we're seeing on the spot police trying to collect some evidence, picking up the pieces and some empty cases of bullets where, in fact, CRPF as well as police top officials have come. They're trying to examine this, and in fact, some of the troops have gone into the lanes and by lanes to really check onto the houses where there's any militant. They're trying to secure this particular area, but clearly it's a very bad day for police in the sense that this was an ambush which took place and in which, at least to begin with, 14 people have been injured, out of which some have been really fatalities.
Security forces have launched a search operation in this area. Give us give our viewers some more details about this particular area that we are talking about, Mufti.
Well, as I said, that this area is called Zeevan, and this is only 12 kilometers south of Srinagar, and where now we're picking up at least 3 police corps have succumbed to their wounds. There's some 11 others who have been shifted to different hospitals in injured condition. But as we speak, to give you a glimpse of what is happening on the spot is that policemen are really trying now to find some of the clues. They've gone into the lanes to really check whether there are any kind of splinters or empty cases, whether there is blood which is spattered. This all would be required in the investigation. But clearly it's been an extremely bad day for police because this was a battalion of 9 battalion, and in fact, it was on way to Srinagar when all of a sudden there was this sudden attack which took place. And this area is generally peaceful. If you talk about Zeevan, there are a lot of camps, security camps, be it the camp of ITBP, for that matter CRPF, as well as BSF. Then police also has a huge fortification here. But despite that, it seems that militants have been lurking and they waited for this opportunity when there was kind of a darkness, and all of a sudden they started firing on this particular bus, resulting in injuries to 14. Now, as I've been saying, 3 of them have unfortunately succumbed at the hospital. 11 others are really being given treatment.
So 11 police officers have been injured and 3 have succumbed to their injuries in this terror attack that took place on a police vehicle in Srinagar. Let me get Tejinder as well. Tejinder, what are you picking up?
Maria, I have been speaking to the senior police officials, those who are on the ground, and they have confirmed that unfortunately they have lost 3 men in this terror attack, and 11 are still battling for their life in various hospitals. The terrorists, they managed to fire at this bus which was carrying the police personnel from the 9th Battalion of the Jammu and Kashmir Armed Police, which was on its way to Srinagar. As my colleague Mufti was also pointing out, that this place is at the outskirts of Srinagar when these terrorist attack did take place. Earlier also in the adjacent areas, there have been several such terror attacks involving vehicles of tourists, involving vehicles of security forces, and this is one such major terror attack which has taken place after a long time on the outskirts in this place, wherein now the senior police officials are confirming that 3 police personnel have, however, succumbed to their injuries. 11 are still battling for their life. The condition of 2 of those injured is still critical, and all efforts are being made by the doctors who are treating them to ensure that they survive. But yes, the entire area has been cordoned off. The Jammu and Kashmir police, the army, the CRPF and other security agencies, they have cordoned off the area. They are trying to find out whether there was any CCTV camera also installed nearby, so as to get a clue of those terrorists who were involved in this attack. Yes,
in fact, the Kashmir police has put out an official tweet as well. They are saying that terrorists fired upon a police vehicle near Zivan in Patak Chowk area of Srinagar. 14 personnel injured in this attack. All the injured personnel evacuated to hospital. Area cordoned off. Further details shall follow. And Mufti Islah is joining me live from ground zero where this attack on police officials have taken place. Mufti, terrorists resorted to heavy firing in the bus in the highly secured area that houses several security forces camp. How did this kind of an intelligence, did they have any kind of an intelligence input at all?
I don't think there was any intelligence, given that this is an area which is surrounded by security forces per se. There's a camp of ITBP, there's a camp of SSB, there's a camp of BSF, there's also a camp of CRPF and police. So all in all, clearly this was an attack which was all of a sudden, which took place here in Zivan area. Zivan, ironically, is not a place which is far off from Srinagar, only some 12 kilometers or so. And clearly what we are with that, police is trying to go into those lanes along with CRPF to really find those militants as to where this fighting took place. As of now, you'll clearly see some of the vehicles coming, even in this light, although it's extremely dangerous to be here. But clearly, police telling us that they're going to carry out searches through the night because they don't actually want these militants to run away from this. They have an idea perhaps that these militants might have now escaped through the lanes and by lanes, and you'll see CRPF as well as police contingent really here and trying to figure out as to which side the firing took place. As I speak, we've been told that 14 people were actually injured to begin with. Then unfortunately 3 of them, now we're picking up, have succumbed to their wounds.
Yes, as SP Mufti, stay with us. Former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, SP Vaid, is joining me on the phone line. Mr. Vaid, how are you viewing this? This certainly is a shocker that is coming from Jammu and Kashmir. 3 J&K armed police personnel have died and 11 others are injured, and details are still trickling in. But terrorists resorted to heavy firing on the bus. But this is a high security zone.
Yes, it is a very unfortunate incident and very disturbing news. 3 of our Jawans have martyred. J&K police is increasingly being attacked. If you see the pattern last few days, this is with the clear direction from across because they are the people who are calibrating the level of violence. They want to escalate the level in the winter. Generally, the trend used to be that during winters, the infiltration levels would come down, so peaks will block, and then level of infiltration coming down, the level of violence used to come down. But This is being done with a deliberate purpose to counter the narrative that after abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, the situation has normalized. So this is escalation of terrorist violence is with this intention. And J&K police is becoming increasingly targeted because people across realize the crucial role J&K police plays in this fight against terrorism, which is unleashed on Kashmir and people of Kashmir by deep state of Pakistan. Let me also mention here that the families of J&K police are paying very heavy price in this fight against terrorism. And I wish that whoever has undertaken this action, they are quickly tracked down and taken to task and neutralized as soon as possible. I am sure J&K police and CRP and intelligence agencies must be working on that.
Yes, you're talking about a pattern of sorts, Mr. Vaid, that has emerged in the last few weeks in which local cops or J&K cops are being targeted. Why do you think that is happening?
See, if you see the people who are sitting across the people handling the terrorism in Kashmir Valley understand actually the crucial role J&K police plays in anti-terrorist operations, and this is with an attempt and with the intention to demoralize J&K police so that operations and the intelligence sharing, which 90% of it comes from the people through J&K police, is muzzled. So this is an attempt to muzzle J&K police. That's what I perceive.
And you're also seeing that this is some kind of an attempt coming from across the border to change the narrative of Vikas that is unfolding there.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. That is this narrative to counter the narrative that situation is normalizing after 370 abrogation and 35A. And otherwise, if you see the pattern of previous years, during the winters, the level of violence used to come down when infiltration levels after closure of peaks used to come down and the level of violence used to come down. But this time they are deliberately escalating the level of terrorist violence.
And Mr. Vaid, just give us a sense of this Panta Chowk, which has several homes of security forces and several other camps.
See, Panta Chowk is in the outskirts of Srinagar. On way to Zevan is our armed police complex where the armed J&K armed police battalions are stationed, and this Zevan falls on way to Zevan, the Panta Chowk falls. So this is the transaction where bypass and the road from Srinagar to Nantana goes and meets, and it is generally dominated by security forces. But there are houses around and lanes by lanes. I think they have taken advantage of these houses and also the darkness and the cold winter.
Okay. Mr. Vaid, thank you so much for joining us, and let me go straight to Mufti Islah, who's joining us as well live from Zevan, where this attack actually took place. This is outskirts of Srinagar that we are looking at, and as SP Vaid was pointing out, that this is a place which has heavy deployment of police personnel because this is a place where several camps of security forces are there. Mufti, what is happening right now, and of the 11 cops who are injured, what is the nature of injury?
Well, as I said, 3 policemen have already succumbed to their wounds. 11 remain. 11 are being treated in different hospitals of Srinagar. I'm not sure whether some of them Army's 15 Corps hospital, but at this moment I can tell you, to give you a glimpse of what is happening, the CRPF as well as police are deployed here. We'll clearly see them. They're trying to collect some of the evidences here. Some time back, they were collecting empty cases, or for that matter, splinters, which were littered around. Also, we saw blood really being splattered at this particular place. Mr. Vaid was, he was correct, dropped on information when he said that this is a place in Zevan where large number of security camps are located, be it the camps of paramilitary forces, the army fortifications, or Jammu and Kashmir police. Clearly, this is heavily deployed, and you'll see a lot of movement actually through the day in this place. But it seems that there's some kind of a chink in police armor that led to this attack. Otherwise, we've seen this place otherwise doesn't see these attacks because of being heavily fortified. But today, it happened to be an extremely bad day when the night really faded out. There was an ambush at this particular place. We've been told that perhaps from these 3 or 4 lanes, militants might have really appeared and fired on the security forces. Clearly, this time it being the 9th Battalion of Jammu and Kashmir Police, which took the brunt, and you had in the initial firing on the bus, 14 policemen really getting injured. Out of them, unfortunately, one is now picking up that 3 have now succumbed to their wounds, and 11 others are being treated at hospital. Also in the day, we saw an encounter really breaking out in Rangret area, which is some 15 kilometers from this place, where 2 militants were killed initially. Police so far has not given us the identity of those 2 militants, but we have seen the spate of encounters, the spate of shootouts in Srinagar. That is a cause of alarm for the police, because Srinagar otherwise had not seen the kind of militant activities that one saw this year, and with almost regular shootouts that are taking place in Srinagar, which otherwise had kind of become, not a safe zone for militants. But it seems that there is some kind of a resurgence when you see the militant activities, Maria.
And Mufti, is there a sense that the number of terrorists could be really high, and are they still hiding somewhere? Is it what the cops are telling you?
Look, I met some of the cops here, some top officials. The CRPF also had dispatched its IGP, Charu Sinha, who was here some time back. She examined this area. There are actually a lot of lanes, and that's why you see the deployment very much here. Police and CRPF have not left this spot. Apparently, they're going to carry searches deep into the night and perhaps in the morning, because they think that this area is kind of heavily built. When it comes on the left side, there is clearly a mountain on which all these police and paramilitary fortification are located. But on the left, they will like to continue searches, because that is what they are looking at. As I speak, Maria, I will clearly show you another posse of police team really coming to this place, although they're slightly far. There's very less light one sees, but clearly you can see some kind of a movement. And because of this built up, police is requisitioning more CRPF, more police, perhaps some help from army, so that they can carry out detailed searches in this particular area. As of now, there's been no gunshot which one has heard, but when this shootout started, clearly it lasted for around 5 to 10 minutes. As we speak, clearly more vehicles of CRPF, BSF, army, police coming in to this particular spot, but this is how it is going to be. As the hours wear on, you will see certainly searches being mounted in this area. Perhaps all these 3, the army, police, as well as CRPF, trying to find those militants who were behind this attack. So tremendous moment as we speak, Maria. You can clearly see in those visuals a huge number of police personnel, the CRPF, as well as army now coming onto the spot as we speak.
Mufti Islah there reporting from the site of this attack. Terrorist murder, cops in Srinagar. In fact, 3 police personnel have succumbed to these injuries, and 11 others are injured in this terror attack that took place just a few hours ago, and they have been hospitalized. So we'll track this story very, very closely. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.